all over the world, particularly the developed world, you will find many known places to visit and admire. You will also find the stories behind those sites to be fascinating enough to hold your attention. Paying money to see them is often never considered a waste by millions of people every year. This is the basis of multi-billion-dollar industries globally. For example, London will offer you the British Museum or Buckingham Palace. Frankfurt will offer you the amazing Frankfurt Zoo or the old St. Bartholomew's Cathedral. New York will offer you the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty. Dubai will offer you the Burj Khalifa or the Dubai Mall and many others. The reality is that great cities and countries have mastered the art of capturing, telling, and selling their stories, while others have not. Nigeria can start to do this because the country has a lot of incredible sites and stories that can attract the world. Dayo Adedayo is convinced that these sites and stories can create a multi-billion-dollar tourism industry for Nigeria. More of that very soon. Welcome to Channels Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumu. Let's first introduce Adedayo, who is our guest today. He is regarded as one of Nigeria's finest landscape photographers, and he owns the images on the centenary 100 Naira notes, the Nigerian passport, and other remarkable images that showcase Nigeria. He has authored photographic books including Enchanting Nigeria, Nigeria the Magical, and Ogun State. Now, here's an amazing thing. In an 11-year effort, Dayo Adedayo traveled to 774 local governments across Nigeria, snapping pictures of important sites and capturing the stories behind those sites. He then put all those pictures and stories in this coffee table book titled Nigeria 2.0. The story behind this book is a book in itself. The book is over 450 pages. It's 11 by 14 inches and over 5 kilograms. It's an astonishing book that tells Nigeria's story in pictures and words. Dayo, nice to have you on the Channels Book Club.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. You've done incredible work here, I have to say. About 450 pages of pictures that tell the story of Nigeria. But it's not just the pictures that fascinate me. It's also the fact that you have narratives, you know, beside each photograph. So going through it, I was imagining, how did it take all? You traveled across the country, I guess.
That's right. 774 local governments.
You went to 774 local governments. We'll come back to talk about that. But tell me the story. How did this start? How did this project start?
The whole thing started with me looking for images on Nigeria. I studied photography. And as at 10, 15 years ago, if you go on the internet wasn't that much then, but there is no library in the world where you find a pictorial book on Nigeria as you see of other countries. So that was when the interest started.
No pictorial book?
None on Nigeria.
As of 10 years ago?
As of 10, 15 years ago, none. Yes. Shell did one, which wasn't comprehensive, but the only one that I saw that could say, okay, this is Nigeria, was by the National Geographic Society. It was a very tiny book, less than 50 pages, and the cover were two Fulani ladies with, what is it called, on their hair, calabash or so, by the side of the road, you know. And to me, that is not the story of Nigeria.
It doesn't tell the full story?
No, it doesn't tell the full story of Nigeria, and that is how the whole thing started, and I started my documentary in 2003. What
was it like when you started putting books like this together? Well, I'm suspecting you had a lot of challenges. You know, share a bit of that with me. What was the experience like for you putting this together?
It was a bit challenging. Nigeria is the most difficult place to photograph in the world.
Why?
Because of our level of education, the level of exposure of the citizens, not necessarily the political leaders, because they travel abroad. A very big example is the presidential villa in Abuja, you know, and there are even signs there you can't take photographs. I was nearly shot one day at the presidential villa. I knew you can't take pictures, so I didn't even go with cameras. But I have two children, one of my friend's children that came all the way from Canada. First time I said, oh, come and spend some time with me in Abuja. Of course, we've driven around everywhere. We've taken pictures all over Zuma Rock, National Assembly, Supreme Court, with Zuma Rock. But when we got to the villa, I said, no, pictures are not allowed. And they were saying, Uncle, why can't we take pictures? You know, we got to the pilot gate because I've been privileged to be inside the villa. So I was just explaining to them, oh, that's the president's office, that's where the president lives. And two state security personnel just came to us and they started shouting at us. Don't embarrass yourself. This is the first time of these guys. They were teenagers. One is even a lawyer now, the other one is studying medicine. You know, these are teenagers. Their parents are from Nigeria. This is their first time in the country from Canada. And they don't experience all these things. You know, not to talk of me, I've been arrested, taken, detained, you know, all because in the line of business of trying to sell
photographs.
Nigeria. All I can tell you is take your camera out one day, go out. If the citizens are not harassing you, the law enforcement agencies will harass you as well. And not just harassment, the citizens who want to take money off you, and only God knows how much I've spent in terms of giving people money for them to give me access. We all know what the White House looks like. There are several movies on the White House. We all know what Downing Street looks like. But why can't the citizens of the country know what the presidential villa looks like? And not just that alone. For me, why should we budget state money to feed the presidential villa when you can even make much more money by people visiting the villa on holidays? You create a section where they go to. That should be a museum. You will weep if you go to the Dam Barracks. The last time I passed there about 2 weeks ago, tears were running down my eyes, and the guy sitting next to me, Adedayo, what's happening? I said, we don't have any sense of history in this country. The Dam Barracks road today is worse than Makoko. This was the seat of government for a very long time. I see no reason why that place could not be turned into a national museum. You have the former State House built in 1896 by Marina, just tucked in one corner, no difference with the White House, built by the British when they were here as colonial masters. All these things can generate money, but what do we do? Because of oil and gas, people are getting money every month. So what is the essence of making money? People don't have anywhere to go to.